Yeah, it's gonna get real personal tonight, y'all. But first, I'll bring to you two coaches whose mission is to empower women through educating men. Speaking of educating, you know what love is? I can tell you what it's not. It's not isolation. It's not tearing down one another. It's definitely not deception. But what it really is, Love Don't Hurt, episode 22. You know what showtime is. If not, it's 8 o'clock, hit the bell, go to YouTube. Get some of this analytical chaos.
Well, love don't hurt. That's what we had. Welcome to the show. I see we had a double going on. It's all good. Y'all know how we roll anyway. Y'all been rolling with us for a long time. Episode 22, Love Don't Hurt.
Hi, everyone. I'm C. Morgan, chiropractor, alignment coach.
Yep, and I'm King, the authentic coach. So let's go to the Father and let's go to the Father in prayer. Father, we just thank you for this time, this moment that you have set aside for us to come on and just enlighten the people. We yield to the Holy Spirit as we speak on something that's very powerful. Love don't hurt. Father, we pray that people be encouraged, be inspired, and most importantly, they be changed and have a great time on this show. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Love don't hurt. Woo. This is a good one here. And we're going to tackle all of it. We're going to tackle all of it. And the thing about it, what inspires this is we on the post of Valentine's Day.
Right.
And you know what I saw that, to me, that was amazing is how people were scattering around to get flowers and everything else and to get this candy and all this stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I just had an epiphany. Like, why are they scattering around like that? Like, is this something they only do once a year? Show appreciation for those who they say they love. And then, I think about, I think outside the box. And I'm like, are they just making up because, are they getting this for their mistress, their side chick? Oh, what's going on here? And like you said, we talking about, hey, we gonna put it out there today. Love don't hurt. And when you think about it, how many times, and I speak for me, how many times in the past that I've been in a relationship that I said was love, but it actually wasn't love because of how I treated them. I'm not gonna put it on them. We're gonna bring it here because we're gonna deal with all this stuff. I'm out to get transparent a little bit deeper than I usually do. But how many times have I been in a relationship? Yeah, we know where we go. How many times have I been in a relationship and I said I love a person, but I actually was hurting the person? And we say this, and you hear us on many shows. You go back and check out our shows. You hear us say this all the time: hurt people, hurt people. And in the past, I was damaged. I was really damaged and hurt, and I had a lot of voids. I just the last 3 years is when I had my self-love reflection. So again, the past relationships, I was damaged, and I was doing some crazy things like that equals what I said was love. And I was the one in the past relationship going to the store last minute to get the Valentine's Day gift because I didn't understand that love is 365 days, not just one day out of the year on the shortest month of the year, which is crazy. So it's just something that we have to dig into. See, I mean, we're going to dig into it, see, but let's just stick with the topic. Off the top of your head, when you hear love don't hurt, what comes to your mind? Off the cuff. We're gonna dig. Before you get analytical, just let's stay surface. Let's stay a little surface just a little bit.
Well, to me it is service. I mean, for me, the first thing comes to mind, love don't hurt. What is the definition of love for people? What is the definition of love to you? It depends how you're brought up, what you're conditioned conditioned to know. A lot of people will say, you know, oh, love is supposed to be unconditional. Well,
Uh,
what conditions do you put on love? Since love is, you know, it's action based in a conscious decision to value others. You know, the love is. It doesn't have any boundaries. It does, you know, like it says, it doesn't count how many times you do something wrong. But
mm,
it's how you learn how to love based on what you know what actual love is. Because as we know, you know, like I said in the beginning, you know, love isn't jealousy, you know, it is ambition, it's, you know, it's fulfillment, you know, and it's becoming. It doesn't desire pleasure. But some people in some type of in some relationships, they have you know, a transactional love. They only give to get. That's not love either. That's not a healthy love, I'll
mm,
say. Because love has many different forms. People can
mm,
have a love of touch, a love of
mm.
sight. It depends, where are you taking that word and where do you go with in your definition and your thought and your feeling of what it is. But I think you look at love, you look at it to me in healthy or unhealthy.
Mm. That's good. See, now we're gonna dig though. Like I said, I'm keeping it light. Let's shout out. Oh, my brother KG is in the house. Oh, Pastor Kevin Graham is in the house, and it looked like
Hello.
he's brought a visitor, Evangelist Jonathan New. I guess his
Nice to
name.
have you.
Nice to have you. Welcome, Jonathan. If you are part of my brother invites you. That means you're good people. You're good with me. So let you know what? See, I don't really like. Usually, you told me last time I was holding back. I guess matter of fact, let's just go ahead and dig into it. Now, let's go from this. I want to go from this angle. What
Okay.
sticks out to me is this. When we talk about love, what sticks out to me, y'all know how we roll. We got 24/7. It sticks out to me. Corinthians the 13th chapter. First
Yeah.
Corinthians 13th chapter. See, when we that's I promise you, I have seen, and I won't see. You won't see because this guy is literally telling you this is how you love. You know, the one thing that sticks out: keep no record of wrong.
Right.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It's not boastful. It doesn't seek itself. It's not in. So when I think about love in that aspect, I go there. Anytime I hear love, I think back on that right there. So if I measure past relationships, I did not love them because I was very boastful. I kept track of every single wrong they did. Everything they did, I went right back at them with it. I kept a tally. Like, you do this to me, I did this right back. So I didn't love, but now it's a different type. But what I had to do first though was love myself. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. So if and I said this a couple weeks, I don't know the last show, if I don't know how to love myself, I cannot love my neighbor really. I can't. So I had to learn how to love myself and don't keep no wrongs of myself. Don't be angry with myself. Don't be boastful about myself. Don't bring up the past about myself. I had to literally love myself so therefore I can give that love away. Now, it's a thing they call in the Bible's three of them. I don't want to get philosophical on this thing. You know, I've been studying my psychology and everything. But it's three things: philios, agape, and erotic. We're not
Hmm.
gonna deal with that today. That's another show. We want to deal with the aspect of love don't hurt. So in case you in a relationship, we said at the top we're gonna get personal. We said that. So don't change the channel yet. Just hear us out. You know, we always close out with we cut deep, but then we heal you at the end. So just stick to the end. But right now it's a cut deep. So if you're in a relationship that is draining and that is more or less like, hmm, it's a by and by relationship. It's one of those relationships you just tolerate in a relationship. The person tolerating you, you tolerating them. That's not love. It's draining.
No.
And if you're talking about, well, I'm gonna stay with this relationship for somebody to come along, that's not gonna happen. Trust me, it's not. What you need to do, if you just so happen to be in one of these toxic relationships, you need to end it. What is toxic? C is gonna break that down analytically, but let me give you the chaotic way. Toxic is this. Toxic is if you know for a fact you got to check their phone every 24/7. That's toxic. If you
Yeah.
got to look every time they come home, you checking their gas mileage on their car to see where they went. They say they was going here. That's toxic. If you can't, Literally let them pick up the phone without looking over their shoulder to see who called it. That's toxic. First of all, it, mm, it's toxic. That's all I'm gonna stay right there. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go later. Okay, see, let's shift over to the nice side of this thing. And today, I want to say this before we go further. These thoughts and things that I say are the thoughts of King only and not C. Morgan, the alignment coach. King, the authentic coach, is going to really go solo on this show with his thoughts and his opinions. They are not the thoughts of C. Morgan. She's not this person. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time, but we're going to let C speak now. But after that, we ready to go there. See, analytically, tell us what toxicity is in a relationship.
Well, you touched on it. I mean, you did touch about. You did let her know some signs, what to look for, which some of that has some insecurity. Because to me, you touched on the relationship love, but you also touched on not having full self love for yourself, your self worth, and all that. That comes
Mm-hmm.
actually with love. The toxic love, it's you're between strong highs, which meaning excitement and passion, and then you're in intense lows. That could be anxiety and depression, which you described are some examples of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the anxiety of checking the phone, that comes trust issues. So there
Yeah.
you got a lot of different issues around toxic love. It is. I mean, you mainly stay in the highs, but mostly you experience the lows because of the ups and downs. You're not being sure. You have your doubts and that. And the one thing too, in toxic and I'm gonna say unhealthy relationships too, is like you have a lack of support at times for that. The healthy ones, they're based on mutual desire to see each other succeed in all areas of life. When you
Mm-hmm.
have someone tearing you down or diminishing your goals
Mm,
or
mm,
diminishing the thoughts that you have, the toxic communication where it's one-sided, you're do as I say, not as I do. In that essence, you're sitting there calling names. You don't get to, if you don't feel your side has heard or your value of your emotions, they're saying is not even worth listening to. They're worthless. They don't care what you feel in that. They have controlling behaviors. They start to isolate you at times too. No, you can't do this. They isolate you from family and friends. Even on the phone, any type of brief excitement you may have or joy, they try to diminish that and take that from you. As we say, don't let anyone steal your joy. A lot of
mm,
times too, when you're in it, you're gonna have resentment, and you might have it for yourself first because you're not standing up for yourself or voicing the voice that you have. Someone else is speaking for you. You don't even speak a lot. Or even decision, it can be go to the point where they're ordering your food for you. Just like, no, I got it. It just takes away all your choice, freedom of choice that you have that you would do on your own if you were not in a relationship. Some of the things too you talked about too. Can you have the dishonesty? Then you have some more patterns of disrespect. And everyone looks at disrespect differently. There's some things that some will allow and some will not allow. I would
mm,
say, or just the fact of what you're feeling that you just not tolerate that, or that's just not something value or attitude or behavior that you want to accept,
right.
which is okay. You bring that awareness to that. But if you try to bring that awareness and you're yelled at, or you feel like, or even if the feel, I don't want to, it happens in relationship where you have physical abuse, for you even opening up your mouth and voicing something or saying something, that if you feel you're disrespecting them, that your feelings do matter, your emotions do
Right.
matter.
Right.
And then the other part which they try to use too in a toxic relation, this is for men and women, it's not just
Yeah.
for men, this is both. this
Across the
is
board.
this even goes in the realms of relation, any type of situationship or relationship they have. This is just toxic, period. And even negative financial behaviors. When one person controls all the finances, and it kind of like if you're an adult and you're in two adult relationships and you don't have any money, that's a form of, we talk about the gaslighting aspect of it, but a form of control for you. You don't have no control over the money. You have no say. It's like, here, just take my check and it's done. And so you have to basically ask for so-called quote allowance, or can I have money for this? Can I have money of that? Then it comes to two, in the communication aspect of it, you're misunderstood and you may feel attacked on it too. You feel worse than you are in a relationship than by yourself. If
Right.
you're feeling that, you shouldn't even be in a relationship, period. Or in it, and you can fight with yourself too. That's the other thing. You have your own fight with yourself because you're not happy how you are, but you don't have, again, like I said before, that self-love for yourself. All this does not sound pretty right now. It's hurtful. Now, the point of where you stay there is the next thing. But just in any context, It can be from any aspect. Even this is with children too. The children, some people will just actually vent out. Their anger actually supersedes their hurt. So it starts with the hurt and it goes in anger. And when that's not controlled too, it spirals out of control a lot of times too. So like you said, King, hurt people.
Right.
And those aspects. And the biggest thing too that you would see is the frequent lying and an all take and no give. And then also you start feeling drained, you start feeling exhausted, you don't want to do anything, and you can also start making excuses for their behavior. That's when you need to realize, have them accept for their own behaviors what they're doing. Let them take responsibility and accountability what's being done to you,
Right.
but you have to take that too, the steps that come up. So those are some things when it comes into play toxic. Another big thing I would say is if you don't feel safe. You have to feel safe and
Definitely.
what you're doing and where you're at. That's something. And a lot of times you may feel lost. So all those will compound together, as I was saying, in the lows that can contribute to anxiety and depression. You can actually, someone who makes you feel ashamed and belittled.
Mm.
So those are some things that I would say are dysfunctional roles in a relationship that some people may have codependency on, they have to break from, but all together it still is under that umbrella of toxic.
Right. Now, let's say this. Now, we're not saying, even in a great relationship, we're not saying in a great relationship you're not going to have intense fellowship. You are, because you're two
Right.
different people coming together from two different backgrounds. But we are saying, even in that, you will have some type of level of communication with respect. In other words, you wouldn't talk to one another and tear each other down and try to hit below the belt, but you would talk to each other and try to get an understanding so y'all can have communication, to y'all can be on one accord. And that's going to happen. So we're not saying that if you have all this and it's not going to be in a great relationship. No, it's going to be in a great relationship because two people from two different backgrounds coming together, so you're going to have differences. That's just
Right.
is what it is. What we are saying is, at some point, you got to realize: is this a healthy, intense fellowship, or is this a degrading one? Is this one where this person is always tearing me down, making me feel little? Like she said, gaslighting. She'll give you the definition, but let me give you the definition I'm gonna give you. Gaslighting is this: it's literally peeing on me and telling me it's raining. That's what gaslighting is. It's trying to make me feel like something is not happening that I know is happening. And then that's
Mhm.
what gaslighting is. And a lot of that goes on in relationships. So if that is happening to you, it is something that you really should take a pull back from. Because at the end of the day, you got to understand your self worth. Period, point
Yeah.
blank. Man and woman. Now, y'all know I empower women and all stuff, but this today is going to be across the board. Men and women, you have to know your self worth. If you do not know your self worth, if you do not understand the value of you, like she said, you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to go figure that out. Because until you figure that out, it's no way you can give anything. You cannot give love or any kind of value if you don't know value yourself. How is that going to work? That's not going to work. Let's just eliminate that. We're going to cut to the chase. It's not going to work. Again, these are King's thoughts. Now, see. Now, let's go on. This is what I really want to get to. It's Einstein said it best. You cannot keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So if you're in a relationship and this person is doing the same thing, lying over and over and over again, and say, "Oh, I'm not," then they do it again. "Oh, I'm good," then they do it again. "I'm not gonna tear you down. I'm not gonna talk to you like that no more. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." And they do it the next day. They do it. Some point in your life, you're gonna have to wake up and see that it ain't gonna change. This is what I feel on that. Quit. Do not be afraid to be alone. Cause some
That's
people,
one thing. Yeah.
some people, yeah, we gotta go there. Some people stay in relationships because they don't want to be alone. So you would rather be miserable than be alone. That is not healthy. Because first of all, you're killing yourself slowly. Because stress is the silent killer. You're in a relationship stressing yourself all the way out just because you don't want to be alone. I'm telling you this. I'm telling you something. You need to be alone. Because see, you got to figure out how to love you. Because the longer you stay in a relationship, the longer it's going to take for your subconscious to release all them toxics of words being said to you in that relationship. So you have to really get up out of there. Again, on the onset, the title of the show is Love Don't Hurt. It doesn't. It's not smack me around, I love you. I did it because I love you. My mom whooped me and said, I only whooped you because I love you. I wish my mom stopped loving me then. I didn't want no more whoopings. But that's what we was told. Oh, I'm only whooping you because I love you. That's a lie. Don't whoop me no more. It don't hurt. Love ain't hurt. Discipline, yes. Whooping me,
Yeah.
no.
Difference between beating, discipline,
Difference.
is the difference.
Right.
Right
Difference.
between them.
Yeah.
And a lot
Now.
of that's built by culture and what's shown on TV, what
Ooh.
is supposed to be love. So they show like a role worshiping romantic love, not romanticizing that, okay, we may have a disagreement. We may come
Mm-hmm.
in conflict, but
Right.
the conflict should not result in an argument that cannot be dissolved or resolved with understanding. You don't have to always agree. You can agree to disagree in that. But in the part that comes with it is that when you're in the relationship and you start dating, as we say, so-called, what they call that in the beginning. Oh gosh, I can't think of what it's now. Like when I would say
Courting.
the puppy love.
They say
Yeah, the
courting.
courting, but like the
The old
honeymoon.
folk call it
Honeymoon.
courting. Oh,
Yeah,
honeymoon stage.
the
Oh
honeymoon, yeah,
yeah.
honeymoon
Yeah.
part of it. Everything is good, and you start to see what people are doing. Now, you may see the red flags which you don't like, but you're so blinded, by the romanticizing what society shows us what love is supposed to be. But it's just it's a facade of part of it. I'll say it's a facade because it's not always like that.
Right.
People are not always agreeing, and
Right.
when you're always agreeing, it's not real in the sense of when two people are together, you're made differently.
Right.
You're made with different expectations. You guys are different, so you're going to have different views. So it's okay to have someone disagree with you, or sometimes, go through and share perspectives on different things so you can grow and enlighten each other
Yeah.
in that sense of it. So you don't want to be like, oh, I don't like this person because of their thoughts, but you're like, okay, I can understand your point of what it is. So you're being objective to them. But a lot of times you go through and you say, oh, I don't want to argue. Argue means that we're not getting along, or arguing means, we don't love each other.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is part of a healthy relationship, is the arguing part of it. It's just when it becomes abusive. That's
Yes.
where the line is drawn. And you can prioritize what you get out of relationship over respect you're given. That comes like you start to tolerate it, and you start to be treated like a doormat when you start doing that. So when you prioritize the love over trust and relationship, then you tolerate lying and you tolerate cheating. So what do you really want to prioritize over that? Love over affection, just to tolerate a cold and distant existence in a relationship? Think about what you tolerate and what you're getting back, and you're not trying to be this doormat. Do you
Mm.
want to continue to be a doormat? It's an ugly way to put it, but the actions and things are
Put
being
it that way.
done, you are being treated like a doormat in that
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah. Put it that way. No, the truth need to be told. It is what it is. It's like this what I don't like. We ain't tiptoeing around. I'm sorry, we're not gonna tiptoe around this stuff, subject, because too many people are in these doormat relationships. Like,
Yeah.
listen, you said something and it brought me back to scripture. I'm just go to church right quick. You said something about, you're gonna have disagreements. Check this out. When they started in Acts, Paul and Silas and Barnabas, they was all going around spreading the gospel. Paul told Barnabas he didn't want to roll with one of the guys, John Mark. That's what it was. He said, nah, John Mark can't roll with us. John Mark punked out when he should have not, when he should have just stood strong, but when it got hard, he punked out and ran. So he ain't rolling with us. And so Paul and Barnabas had to separate. Paul took Silas with him because Silas wasn't going to punk out like John Mark. I know y'all got to understand. I make the Bible go straight. Trust me, it's in there. Go to Acts and read it for yourself. I'm just making sure you go read it. Read it. I promise you it's in there. So it's going to be disagreements. And this is people that rock with Jesus, that was spreading the gospel. So they had disagreements. That's going to happen. We're not saying that's not going to happen. You're going to have disagreements, but you can have disagreements to come to an understanding. Like she said, if there's no understanding every single time, that's a problem. Y'all ain't meant to be together. That just is what it is on that. And accept it. Quit being with people just until you feel like that right one coming along. That is dumb. Dumb. That's not how that works. I'm just going to rock with this person until the right one come along. God's going to send me the right one. No. You're not in position. Not no.
Were you speaking with that too?
Mm,
When you're
mm,
saying you'll stay in this relationship till the next one comes along, what people don't realize is sometimes too, you find the same person in a different body because you're not resolving what is occurring at the moment. You're
deal with that.
running from the issues, maybe with you, maybe with the relationship period, or just you having relationship issues when you're in it, especially when you're in that relationship and you're keeping a scorecard of wrongs, like you said before.
Right.
No, love, you don't keep a record of wrongs.
We
So
don't.
when you're going through that and you're so adamant about just being right instead of being right for each other, that's what makes it
Mm,
so bad about that. You're not only deflecting the current issue that you can't agree on by focus on previous wrongs, you're having now the person want to build up guilt and bitterness from the past just to manipulate your partner into feeling bad in the present. That's toxic for
toxic.
you doing that. You shouldn't keep that. If it goes on long enough, you both are going to suck the energy from each other just to prove that you're right. And again, you want to be right instead of be less wrong, so you're right for each other. And the ask with it, that actually feels better, because you're doing something together. You're trying to be right for each other, not the issue. Resolve the issue. Deal what is on the table right now. If it's something, it might be a crucial conversation that you may have, so be it, but work through it, not
Yes.
ignore it or push it off. You have to adjust sometimes the prior actions and behaviors, like we talked about, cheating and lying. Okay, you have to adjust those behaviors. If they want to and you don't want to accept it, okay, then you have to disengage yourself from that relationship. If you want to sit there and try to find the root of why this behavior has occurred, or if they want to own up to it, or do they really want to work through that, then work through it in the aspect. But that's not something that needs to keep going on and on, because it's going to cause self-doubt in yourself, and it's really going to cause distrust. And when trust is broken, it's hard to get that trust back.
Mm,
You don't want to say something outright in a negative, I would say in a very aggressive way, especially when you know you're wrong or you're caught in doing something. Try to actually push each other in the right direction to say,
right.
hey, I know this is not uncomfortable right now, but I do want to be open and clear. Some things I may say may hurt right now or be uncomfortable, but just don't sit there at times and just try to always be that adamant right or judge them for their actions. That's what's going to close someone isolate too, when you're judging them for their actions.
Right. And we talked about that last week with Melissa Van Oz when
Yeah.
she was on about how, you know what I'm saying, trust, and KG brought up that point, wherever your mate not open, he brought it up last week. Look, that's what we saying. You gotta don't if you got a person that's closed in, and we all guilty of this. Especially we have big hearts. Sometimes we feel like we get in a relationship. I've done it. We get in a relationship and we can help that person. We feel like if we be with that person is going to change because we're going to love on them and we're going to be patient with them. Sometimes that's just no time that is right. That person has to fix themselves. Nobody is responsible for each other's voids. We all have to work on that. Like I said, the self-love thing is something you got to do for yourself. It's not nobody else's
Mhm.
responsibility to fix the voids that's in your life. They was not with you when you got them voids. So if you got a void at 12, 15, 17, 18, 20, and then you meet whoever at 45 or 43, they wasn't there then. So it's not their responsibility to fix them voids in you. And what happens is we get in relationships and we expect the other person to fix voids that are inside of us that they didn't even create. But what's happening is you're punishing them for something they didn't even do. So that's why another reason we say you got to get yourself together, because love don't hurt. If you have voids, that's on you to fix. That's not on the person you with. If you have
Yeah, the other
if
thing,
you have
the other thing
traumatic
you said too
experiences,
is holding that.
that's not on them. That's on you. You got to go get the help. Now, your mate can encourage you, speak words of encouragement to you, speak words of affirmation to you. However, when it comes down to it, it's still on you, not them. So, for the person, because this goes both ways, if you are that person, do your person a favor, your mate a favor. Let yourself back away from them, get yourself together, and then revisit it. Because I promise you this, trust me, I'm telling you what I know, you would not get nowhere in no relationship while you have voids. I promise you. I'm telling you something. I had to work on me I had to allow God to fix me. I had to allow God to uproot some things, some filthy, nasty things that were in me that was causing me to hurt other people, to break other people. I had to let God do that. And he has, and he's still at work, but at least it ain't what it was. Now it's more or less like, you know how you cut your grass and you cut your grass and your grass grow? That's all it is now. It's not me just how I have to cut the grass every now and then. But it ain't what it was, where it was like weeds, snakes in there, you got bumblebees in there. It was chaotic and it don't like nobody stayed there in years. That's how I used to look. But then I let God kill all that stuff in me. And now we here. So I'm telling you, if you in a relationship and you saying this to your partner, oh, I'm so glad God sent me to you. You help me with all my voids. You're telling a lie, because that's something you gotta do yourself. They can't. They can't. They not their responsibility. That's not fair to your mate, spouse, whatever relationship you in. It's not their responsibility to do you work. You work is for you. That's for you to do for you. The stuff that's in you, and you need to get uproot. You got to do that work. Now, they can be along to encourage you through it, but it ain't their responsibility. It's on you. Now, see it say it a different way. See, tell them the different way how that go. It's a different way.
No, I agree. What you're saying. What you're saying in the self investment in yourself. For me, it's they can't. Someone else cannot fill the voids for you. They may help you guide you through the voids. They may help you bring more awareness to the voids, but you have to take the steps to clear them and fulfill them.
Mm-hmm.
And if that person, you need to do that, especially you can't hold the relationship as hostage, I'll say in that sense. Once some person just gives a simple criticism or a complaint, and then you blackmail the other person by threatening the commitment of the relationship, as a whole. For instance, if someone's like, if you're being cold to them, instead of saying, I feel like you're being cold sometimes, they would instead say, well, I can't date someone who treats me all the time coldly. Well, in a relationship, you don't always have to like the person. There's a difference between the commitment part of that and liking a person. We're normal. That's a normal human being that you have. It's fine to get upset at your partner. It's fine not to like something about them. But in the sense of, be that person that you can have those differences like we talked about, because those differences probably brought you together in the first place. Because we do look at things, we find things that are similar to us, but with us, when we know we have our weaknesses, I say development areas, and our strengths, we look for someone else who can balance that. So that other person might have balanced something in a sense. But if you're not correct, how King is saying, in self development and self worth, you're going to attract somebody that's to avoid you trying to feel in a negative aspect. It's not a positive, uplifting growth factor for that. You're looking for something that is trying to fill a void of maybe love, but not the right kind of love.
Right.
And that aspect of that. You can devote yourself to something, but when you're not devoted to yourself first, and you can stand firmly in your boundaries and the commitments to yourself, your morals, and your values, you go to someone else and those aren't straight and those aren't strong, you're fragile. You're going to someone else that can take over you, to treat you in that, like you said, that doormat of a relationship. And you
Right.
don't want that, because that, again, that is toxic for you. And you're causing yourself more hurt because you're not being honest with yourself. You're not even having that freedom to be honest with yourself. And you start to suppress some feelings that are leading to the creation of an environment of it's going to be distrust and manipulation, the trust in yourself, and then the trust in your partner. So look what you brought on your back from into this new relationship, like you're saying before, King, of going from one relationship to another without resolving something with yourself first. You're
Right.
just completely backpacking relationship on
Yeah.
relationship on relationship. And this can be from since you were a child. So you may have a child issue in the past that has not been resolved. As you became a teen, something else came on. So you're packing more in your back. As you came into your young adolescent, something else is in there. And we had throughout high school and elementary school, they have their boyfriend girlfriend relationships in there. Something can happen, especially in high school when you're transitioning into that young adolescent to an adult. You have a hurt from a previous female, previous male, in an aspect. Hey, you didn't correct that then. You vowed. Let's say you got really hurt. You didn't correct that hurt. You threw it in a closet, put a lock on it. That hurt has stayed there subconsciously. And that bias, whatever happened, that bias has stayed there that whole time, and you have not dealt with it. It's going to continue carrying. It's going to grow bigger and bigger because you're feeding that so-called fear, doubt, and hurt. Instead of taking the food out its mouth to decrease it for a better nourishment, you're feeding it for the wrong type of nourishment, the negative nourishment that's going to actually be the demise of you in your future relationships, even though you don't want it, but it's going to come out in different areas, and you're going to behave in that area too.
Right.
So unpack that bag of that baggage that you have for yourself and for the person that you want to be with, that you want to be completely committed to, that you want to have this relationship with. Now, you do have your short term relationships or dating, or like you said, courting, king, but it doesn't matter. That backpack doesn't matter what situation or relationship that you go in, it's still going to be there until you address it.
Exactly, it is. And you know what? This is not a popular subject.
No.
It's not famous because whenever you start telling people, "Yo, you gotta deal with yourself," people tune that out. However, I really have to be held accountable to what I say and what I do. So we are gonna do things like this because everything, all our shows ain't gonna be, rainbows and lollipops. We're gonna have to speak the truth to things because we see truth in everyday life. And what happens is when you run away from truth like this, you allow yourself to stay stuck. And we don't want you to stay stuck. We're telling you, like, the isolation. Like, if you, like, in the beginning of the show, if you are literally isolated like that lady was at your house and you were in a relationship, something wrong. If you are literally like they were going at each other's throat like that hard, and you doing that every day, something wrong. And then, the third one, man, if you go to sleep and whoever is on the phone, make sure you sleep, something wrong. That ain't, you don't have to stay. Let's just say it like that. You don't have to stay in something like that. Really love yourself enough to do what's right for you. And it's not selfish. I don't know what it came from, where if you start taking care of yourself, you start making sure you good, you keeping your peace, while you making sure you don't listen to the stuff you usually listen to. I don't see how that became a thing called selfish. No, you have to protect your subconscious. I promise you do. You have to protect it. So, like C said, if you stay in a relationship of toxicity that it just keep speaking negative to you, that's going in your subconscious. Your subconscious don't filter. So even if you do leave that relationship, you're going to need to get some help to get all of that stuff that was said to you in them years of that relationship before you go into another relationship. Like she said, because that's not beneficial. You need to fix you first. I think the best thing I did, and G on here, he'll tell you, his whole thing with me was, when I was going relationship to relationship, he always said, you need to be by yourself. You need to be, man, that was a constant. Now, if I got a relationship, one thing about us, we don't tell each other what to do. We rock with it. We love each other despite of what our choices is. And we support each other. But whenever we end it, he was saying, you need to be by yourself. You need to be by yourself. One day, I'm so glad he was consistently telling that to me, because I listened to him. And I did it. Basically, he was telling me I had to go do an emotional detox of all the relationships that I ever been in. And I'm glad I listened to him, because I got so much clarity from that. And like literally who I am now is because I did that. And so now I'm happily in a relationship that I have peace in. Yeah, we have intense fellowship, but hey, we are. I mean, come on, y'all know me. Yeah, of course we gonna have intense fellowships. Of course, look at who she with. But nevertheless, it ain't one of those things where we tear each other down. We get understanding. And that's what you need to have in a relationship, getting understanding, communication. But if you don't have that, it's all right to back away and say, hey, we not working. This ain't where I thought it should be. Like she said, the honeymoon stage have you gassed up, like you thinking everything's sweet, but then the honeymoon over, what you gonna stand on? You can't just be having sex and think sex gonna get old. It is. It just is what it is. Then what? Like I said, I'm going there tonight, so don't be ready. I'm going there. So if it's gonna get old, and then what? What's next? What you got? If you ain't building nothing, if you don't have no future, you're wasting time. And some of y'all, come on, some of y'all
When a long-term
boy.
committed relationship, yes. Like you said, the wasting of time. That's what I said. Depends where you at and where you want to be, what type of relationship you want to have.
Y'all see how she interrupted me because she knew where I was gonna go. She cuts in. That she did good. I'm still gonna go there, but I'm gonna let her finish. She's just gonna give me time to think of how I say it more poetically. What I'm gonna say. Go ahead, see.
Well, it's similar to what you're saying, when you blame others, for your emotions, what you're saying it's selfish, and you're saying it's not selfish. The selfish part comes in when you're having poor maintenance of your own personal boundaries.
Mm,
That's when that comes selfish in that part. And then you expect your partner to be responsible for how you feel at all times, no
mm,
matter what type of day it is. That can build a codependent relationship, which you don't want to have.
you don't.
Basically is when someone gets upset, and all your personal desires go out the window too, the door and the window, because you now have to make each other feel better. You make each other feel better, but are you dealing with the issue at hand? What started the blame of the emotions in the first place? Why are you blaming someone for the emotions that you're not able to handle? If you don't want to go do something, don't go do it. Don't just save face and keep peace just to go do it. When you're starting to get resentment. This goes on and on and on. It's going to build up in that resentment. So it's taking responsibility for your own emotions and let your partner be responsible for theirs in turn. That's how you still build together in that way. And that's how that's the importance between supporting your partner and then being obligated to your partner. People don't
Mm,
understand that difference between that. You don't always have to do what they want to do. You have your own independency.
right.
That's what's lost too when you come in these type of relationships, and when it comes being toxic in any relationship, friendship, anything with ship in it. You don't have to be obligated to support somebody. The obligation becomes in there is a part of being dependent before that. You are responsible for yourself. Don't lose your independence in what you like just to save face and peace in something.
Right.
When you want to be in a relationship with somebody, if they're truly your friend, you both are going to come to some agreement, understanding that, okay, you're going to understand moods, give them time to get out of it. You're going to talk through the mood. Why were you in this mood? You both have an opportunity to incentivize. Don't hide your feelings. It's okay. It's a safe, secure ground to talk about these. We can work through this, but it's okay for us to have these feelings, but we're not going to manipulate each other. We're not going to play the blame game here.
Right.
The part of you made me feel. No, it's not you made me feel. I feel ABCD. Take responsibility for your feelings. Do not deflect it to that other person at times.
Exactly. Exactly. Because you responsible on your own feelings. Like she said, do not deflect. Do not do that. But we'll do it later. The segment that we got to do. But listen, I'm back to what I was saying. It's not about sex. It's not. You gotta get past that part. You really do. You surely got to get past that and get into a substance of the relationship. Can y'all build together? Can y'all expand each other? Because you shouldn't be with nobody you can't build with, you can't grow with. And you know what? I kept saying that another thing that was. I used to be on that train though. So before I say this, I used to be one that used to say this all the time. Oh, you complete me. No, you don't. No, I'm already complete when we get together. If yeah, that see that's
But I don't
another
think you're
thing.
ever complete. I don't. I think people do help balance you out and being complete, because you're always growing, always developing. So you're right. You're not ever complete, but you always can develop and grow.
Nah, the way they be saying it, like, oh my God, oh my God, before you, I was waiting on you. You so complete me now. I'm so complete. No, man. No. Or that, oh, it's 50-50. Man, I'm a whole person. And I came to see
True.
another whole person. Now, do we got to work some things out? Yes, we do. I agree with that part of it. But
There
I'm
should be
not
numbers
50.
on it.
I'm not
There should
50
be
and you're
numbers
not
on
50.
it.
Nah, you
Mm-mm.
shouldn't put no numbers on it. You definitely shouldn't put numbers on it. And the thing about it is people put numbers on it. And they be like, oh, it's 50-50. No, man, no, that's crazy. Now, I want to do this, and I noticed something that I didn't notice before I go into this other segment part. Now, C has written a book along with other people. It is right behind her, actually. If you look behind it, say Hope Ignited. That's a book that C wrote with a bunch of other authors. Now, that book is available on Amazon. Hope Ignited. It's 12, I think it's 12 women, right? See? 12 women that wrote, came and collaborated, and they call it something. What y'all call it when y'all come and collaborated? What y'all?
Anthropology.
Yeah, anthropology. It sounds like apology though, but okay.
Anthology.
Anthology. Okay, anthology. Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, anthology. It's a great book. 12 powerful women came together and wrote Hope Ignited. It's on Amazon. Now, last week, y'all remember we had Melissa Van Oss on. So tomorrow, and let me go there. Tomorrow is her release of her book. You actually, and I put the link in the chat, you actually can go join the Facebook group, and they're gonna do a live lunch tomorrow, and for the book launch. And she's 2-time best-selling author, and the seduction as a second language. Look, y'all seen last week how she used it. It was great. Y'all should go support her. I'm gonna get the book. It's 99 cents. And you don't have to have Kindle to get the book. You can just download the app. 99 cents tomorrow. The link is in the chat. Click on the link, join the group so you can be a part of it. I want to make sure we get that out there. Because like she said last week, man, she hit on some great points last week. If you didn't see last week's, go back and look at it. I'm going to pull out one thing she said. Process. For those of you that have a love relationship and you feel like, oh, we're not spending no time together and we did that. She talked about that last week, about processing, about doing little things, putting things on calendars and stuff like that. But she says also a process. So for those who've been in a long-term relationship, check the book out. The book is going to help you out. And then also you can check out last week's episode. It's going to help you out as always. So that's why I want to make sure I said all that before I forgot, because we would have kept going and I would have literally forgot that part. Now, back to this love don't hurt. Let's wrap. This is what we're going. This is how I'm going to wrap this up on my end. All we're trying to do is make sure you look at you. You're not responsible for everybody else. Even in the relationship you in, I'm not responsible for my mate. I'm responsible for me and how I control my emotions. I control what I say out my mouth. I'm responsible for making sure I be the best version of me for my mate. That's on me. That's not on her. Now, she can give me words of affirmation. She can encourage me. She can do all that stuff. But it's really on me and how I love me so that I can give that love back that is proper, that is real. Because as far as the male is concerned, the Bible, going to church again, the Bible say love your wife as Christ loved the church. And when we break down how Christ loved the church, he actually gave his life for the church. He loved them unconditionally. Like I said, you go to 1 Corinthians 13 chapter, really what the love is. It's a little deeper than that, but hey, that's a start. That's a great start. A great start. So my thing of this, please, love don't hurt. Not only does it not hurt other people, it don't hurt you either. Start loving yourself enough to make sure you do the necessary changes that needs to be made inside of you. One thing you need to start with is very important. If you have any kind of unforgiveness in your heart towards anybody, you need to get rid of that. Any kind of resentment, you got to get rid of it. Because what you think you're doing, when you think you're blocking out people and you're blocking them out, you also blocking in your love. And so people be around you and you wonder why people don't want to hang out with you, don't want to rock with you because you mean and irritable. That's because you dealing with this resentment. And you need to let that go, and it's unforgiveness. Listen, you can't, I'm going to go there. The person who hurts you can't go kill him. They do 25 to life. Then what? Let's just get to the extreme too. Let's just cut to the chase. So why don't you just let it go? Because literally forgiveness ain't for them anyway. It's for you. My aunt put a text on there talking about forgiveness is when you forgive somebody, you realize you're releasing yourself out of a prison. I thought that was a powerful statement. You releasing yourself out the prison when you forgive. Mm-hmm. That is a powerful statement. So, let it go. That's my 2 cents on it. Love yourself and let things go that you cannot change. You can't go back. I can't go back and change the 2 ladies that molested me. I can't change that. Can't do it. But I had to let it go. I can't go back and change meeting my dad. He died before I got a chance. I can't change it. Had to let it go. I can't change them people put me in the psych ward at the military. Can't change it. Can't do nothing about it. The dude that lied on me and I can't do nothing about that. All I can do is let it go and continue on my life and thank God for the lessons from them events. And that's what I encourage you to do. See, it's on you.
Well, one of the things that you said, I completely agree. You have to do that. And things, some of the things that we talked about, how love doesn't hurt, keeping that relationship scoreboard. We don't want to do tit for tat. We don't, if you keep holding on to the past, it's not going to let you live. So I want you to remember that in that aspect of that. You have to let and resolve that past in order to live in the present and especially move into the future, that aspect of it. The other thing we talked about, was holding the relationship hostage. You don't want to use the relationship as a tool just to sit there and keep them in something, especially when you're not happy with it, because it comes with distrust and that companionship of the wrong companionship. You bring in the companionship of distrust, doubt, lying. You bring in all the negatives. We want to bring in the positives into that relationship. We want to hold hostage of positive things. We don't want to hold hostage of something negative and keeping that tit for tat, like we said, or using the relationship. Oh, if you don't do this, we're not to be together. That's not how you do that. You do this, we're gonna be together in lifelong positive aspects, positive words, positive sayings. What we want to do. The other thing, we don't want to blame each other for our own emotions. Be big enough. Put your own, put your big girl panties on, your big boy boxers on, and have accountability for your actions and for your emotions. Work through those and talk through those together. Have personal boundaries. You want to set those so you don't have poor maintenance of them in that aspect of it, and you don't want to be selfish, as we talked about before. And one good saying is, people would say all the time, if you take care of me, I'll take care of you. How about you start saying, I will take care of me if you'll take care of you, and then you both can take care of each other together in the aspect. That's saying both of you are having that independence. You're not losing yourself. You have your own boundaries, your limitations, you have your own love, and it becomes that powerful unity that you can have as one. You're personally developing together and apart, which
Right.
brings that joint relationship so powerful. You don't sacrifice yourself, you don't sacrifice the relationship. You sacrifice unity with each other to grow and develop on to where you want to be in the future. You don't want to. And one big thing, that I talked about in the toxicity aspect of it is when a man or a woman in this aspect of it to buy gifts just to pacify something's going on, to cover up what is hurting right now. So you buy something that causes excitement and good feelings. You can't just sweep that under the rug. Buy something just to have you forget about what's actually happening right now. And
Right.
that will become toxic too. So the things that what you can do is deal with it. Especially that the trust is broken, you need to talk about it. Talk about not how it happened. Talk about, I mean, you do have to talk about that because it releases a resolution for that. You want to get to where you can rebuild it if it can be rebuilt. Don't ignore someone or that they feel unappreciated. You have to talk about those words that you don't want to come out of your mouth.
Right.
You have to don't replace them with other underlying emotional issues because again, we're packing that bag back up. Those gifts are not making that dissipate away. They're there. They're gonna stay there because you're gonna carry them on your shoulders. It's gonna be in your mind. Your subconscious part of it is, okay, we didn't talk about that, but right now everything is good right now, so it's not gonna come back up. It's gonna take somebody to cause a petty argument or pick an argument for you, and you're gonna somehow use that as a segue to get back to how you're feeling because you felt good right now, but oh, I'm feeling bad now. So I'm gonna go back in here and pick up where we left off now. You're gonna have a repeating cycle of that, and that's not something you wanna keep doing. You both want to be willing to change if it's something you really want. You want to recognize if there's some type of lack of affection, trust, and respect. You want to be willing to work on it. I mean, and generally work on it, not to just pacify. No passive aggressiveness going on. You get mad and you get happy. No, you both really want to get better. And like I said, any type of relationship, it's not just a romantic or intimate relationship. This can be a friendship. This can be a daughter and a parent relationship. A son and daughter. Any type of relation that you have. You want to have where that relationship there's trusting that I can come talk to you. I feel safe talking to you, and we're not going to argue about it. We may raise voices, okay, but as long as we're trying to have an understanding of it, we're not wiping or just throwing someone else's emotions out that they're not even worth it. The other part, the communication in a healthy way, not excessively blaming or judging. And that is so hard to do sometimes when you get your point across, because you start saying, well, I feel this way and I feel that way, or better yet, you did this and you did that. If you did it, own up to it. That will actually, because it makes it worse when you talk about or you try to flee away from what has actually happened. Own up to it. It will actually make it better. It's not always easy to do, but it will make it better because you're starting to build that trust. Okay, he's being honest, she's being honest. Yeah, I did do this. I wasn't clear. I wasn't honest in that. Yes, I did it. Why did you do it? And work through it. Okay, what do we want to have on the outcome of this? Do you want to have this complete revolving cycle of you did it, she did it, you hurt me, I hurt you, I'm getting even with you? Or do you want the growing and fixing the relationship? And I don't like the word fix, because it's not always completely broken. The people are broken in a sense of not understanding their life worth and what they're doing. Some things aren't easy to work with. It's the more of let's fix in the aspect of where we have become deficient in, weak in, or what we don't want to deal with. To me, it's more of accepting and facing that person or thing in the mirror that is hard for us to look at or even feel ashamed of. Let's look at it and just dissolve and get it out the way. So we're both going to be willing, or selves, and both is yourself too, because you fight against yourself. You fight against your mind, you fight against your heart. Your heart and mind has to align. Make that align, and that will align to anything else that you do in that. So in the cycle of being something that's toxic, try to get out something that's toxic for you. If it's very abusive, relationships are going to be complicated. They can be difficult, but only as complicated and difficult as you make it, in the sense of when you're not taking care of yourself.
Exactly. That's very good, Steve. Very great points. And listen, before we go, again, I want to reiterate, like I said, we met Melissa through a network group that we're in. People got great hearts, serving hearts, and this is another one. So really, like I said, the link is in the chat. Click on that link, join her Facebook group for her book launch tomorrow. And in case you need to know what she look like, this is what she looked like. This is her right here, 2-time best-selling author, Melissa Van Oz, the Facebook group. Please support her. We are going to support her. We're going to help her become a 3-time best-selling author, which I believe she's going to do it, though. We really do believe she's going to do it. So, again, if like I like to close.
Hearts, minds, and mind.
Right. If all hearts, minds are satisfied. Like I said, man, I might open me up one of them buildings, man. I'm gonna have services once a month, though. Just once a month at 2:00 p.m. I'm not getting up early. If I ever open up, I promise you. See, I'm telling you, if I ever open up a building for worship, my service is gonna be at 2:00. See, gone. Well, listen. I guess that's C saying, let's get out of here. So it's all hearts, mind, and satisfied. Yo, we'll catch y'all next week. God bless. Hey, and by the way, share this with someone. Share it. Even though if you didn't feel it. Let's go to the Father. Father, I thank you right now for every single person that watched this podcast tonight. Father, I pray Psalms 91 over their life. I pray that no evil shall befall them. No plague shall come to their dwelling, that 1,000 may fall at their side, 10,000 at their right, but only with their eyes would they witness destruction. I thank you for the angels encamped around about them, and I thank you most importantly that they abide under the shadow of your wing. Father, I thank you that no weapon formed against them will prosper. Every tongue that rises up against them shall fail. And Father, I plead the blood of Jesus over them right now. And Father, we thank you for this time that you have set aside for us to empower the people and to educate the people, Father, and that they will be even better after hearing this podcast, and that their life will be in a true trajectory of their authentic self. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.